Here we are here. Hello everybody. Namaste. Sat Sri Akal. Quickly, the context for this episode is a trending piece of news that came out, which really upset me throughout the day. Was that one of the best future footballers ever, Mason Greenwood, who's touted to be, in my eyes, the next Van Persie, the next Messi. थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. But yeah, very good. Top 5 he would have been, right?
This is the person. One second. This is the person you just said is third to Haaland and Mbappe.
हाँ तो top 5 I said.
But no. My point being, I'm still struck by how you gave that statement.
Bro, obviously, bro. You put him in a team like PSG, he'll score 473 goals in a season. Okay, I would score 6 goals in PSG in a season.
Fuck scores 473 goals a season.
Bhavna. Anyway, guys.
Do you score 100 goals a season?
Huh?
Do human beings even score 100 goals a season?
Messi does.
91.
Yeah.
तो हम ही मार रहे हैं पाड़ा में भाई. आओ कभी. आओ Xavier's के मैदान में.
जूहू के बीच में.
जूहू के बीच में तो खेला नहीं. Okay, context, back to the context. So Greenwood is just 19, 20 years of age, touted to be the next future star, like I said. And just today, his girlfriend put up his girlfriend only, na? हाँ, ex-girlfriend अब हो गई है.
अभी नहीं हुई, 6 महीने पहले apparently ex हुई थी.
So he put up stories, or she put up stories where uska मुंह फटा हुआ था. She was bleeding. She had like bruises everywhere, hand, legs, and there was an audio note also of Greenwood saying ki I want you. She's saying that she doesn't want to. It's like, I don't care, open your legs and all of that. And very gruesome, very disturbing, guys. So now context. So this is ideally what was happening, and so we just thought that we can talk about something like this: domestic violence, domestic abuse, and like especially for these young sports people. This guy's finished his life, is what I feel. Like finished his life.
On the face of it, that's what it seems like. Yeah.
On the face of it, chalo, innocent until proven guilty. But
allegedly.
Yeah. So now Rahul bol raha hai. Georgie had something to say with regards to this.
So wait, to give listeners context, okay, Ishmeet and I are definitely against Greenwood, and if this actually holds true, one second, Georgie has some kind of defense for Greenwood which you would like to hear.
This episode का नाम क्या होने वाला है? #Georgie is cancelled. Maybe, but I'm sure he'll have some reasonable good point.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that it's not a defense for Greenwood. It's some sort of a different perspective, in the sense that there are a few levels to the argument that I'm trying to put in, to give you a new perspective on this issue. Okay, first is that there's limited information. These are a few basic points. There's limited information out there and you don't know both sides of the story. Then that's not a defense, but that's just one observation. And next is that these people, especially someone like Mason Greenwood and someone like, even let's say Rafael Nadal, okay, let's take these high elite sports people, okay, the way they operate and the way they work, okay, when I think about it, you cannot look at them and treat them as normal people, because the problems that they're going through, the pressures that they're in. Let's say people really feel that like football people should be like Max Verstappen, should be like a great person because he has many followers.
It's more of their influential people. So because of that, because of the number of people that look up to them, the impact that they have on other people's life is far more.
Yeah, exactly. That's why there's a responsibility on them, because what they say holds greater value because of this influential aspect. Now, what I'm trying to say is that these sports that they play requires them to be like so aggressive, or so, show certain different qualities on the field and off the field, and they're so competitive that you can't have these notions of how a good guy should behave for these elite sportsmen. Like, people really didn't like Medvedev for some reason. Okay, they used to boo him, whatever. Or for his, whatever, the things that he does, the aggression that he shows. People don't like Conte. Okay, for some reason.
People don't like Djokovic.
People don't like Djokovic, yeah. But then, if you say that, like, these guys are like a real, let's take Max Verstappen for example. That he's really brash and he's that kind of, that's his personality, and he shows that in his driving also. So you can't say that Max Verstappen is a bad person and therefore I will not support him, or he's like he uses this bad word while someone else, he used
Well,
the
yeah,
word
but
mock.
see, but yeah, no, that is different. That I agree is very different. Okay, like
Yeah.
if you see like John McEnroe or whoever
Ha
tennis
ha ha
players
ha.
who are very known for smashing rackets and being angry at the umpires and stuff like that. Even for example, take Virat Kohli, very aggressive as a captain,
Ha ha ha.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like if you compare him to MS Dhoni, you'd be like, who the hell is this guy leading the Indian cricket team?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Ha
If he didn't
ha
have the performances or whatever. But
ha.
still, but if he does something of this along these lines, which goes against, I don't know how many principles of different people,
Mhm. Don't
I,
don't don't take the crime. Don't look
okay,
at Greenwood's incident in isolation, because that's a
okay.
little, I think, too extreme. It's not
So
really
you're talking
defensible.
in general that these famous personalities have a different aura and a different responsibility to them. Yes, fact. But
Ha.
beyond that, what?
Beyond that,
I
yeah,
got.
bol.
I didn't
Yeah,
get your point. What are you getting at? To be very honest.
I'm getting at, let's say right now, Rafael Nadal. Okay, Rafael Nadal is working in this very elite stage of tennis where he
Mhm.
has no one else to guide him, or how does someone who's won 21 Grand Slams should behave? He's the first person who's ever reached that stage. Okay, now you can't be like कि भाई तू ऐसे आंसर मत कर ये क्वेश्चन, ये ऐसे आंसर कर, ये इसको रूड माना जाता है. वो he doesn't give a shit. He's Rafael Nadal, bro.
Like, don't teach daddy how to. That is what he'll
Yeah,
say.
exactly. So basically, there's no one like Abhi. Now we are guiding our audience because our audience is also looking up, because looking for peers around them. There's no peer for Rafael Nadal. Okay, there's no. So I'm saying that because of that, the what do you call these like what is good, what is bad, what is rude, what is not rude. These are little gray lines and gray areas, and it's not that black and white.
Okay, so you're calling it subjective, fine.
Yeah, I'm calling it subjective. Yeah, bol.
I get your point, and I think that makes sense. League
I'm,
of their own. They're
yeah,
at league of their own. Got it.
yeah. Let's say even like Zinedine Zidane heading Materazzi,
Hmm.
okay, in the World Cup final 2004,
Hmm.
6, but okay.
2006, Germany. Yes.
Yes.
So that also, like in the football field itself, okay, that's because of the abuse that he got from this thing. It's very normal for a footballer, okay, to react physically to someone who's challenged you on a football field. So many times we've had football field may fights with,
Right,
yeah.
fine.
So it's very natural, but you can't go on and like judge ki what Zinedane's whole career or his whole basis is reduced just because of that headbutt.
So are you trying to, okay, I understand what you're saying, that you're talking about, what you've done before should not be discounted, and
Uh,
are you trying to say that the penalty that needs to be paid
yeah.
in terms of, let's say Manchester United said that they'll cancel the contract, correct,
Uh,
right?
uh,
Like
uh,
that should not be to that extreme, because he's performed well, and
uh.
this one incident shouldn't talk about his
No, no, no.
past. What
No,
are
no,
you
I'm not
trying?
saying that. I'm saying that sport in general requires certain very essential traits like extra aggression. Okay, it
Okay.
requires things like being a real or being a
Hmm.
real, where if you are sly, you're rewarded in sport, but
Right.
in real world you're not. Okay, if let's say Conte does a sly thing and does win the Champions League final, he'll be rewarded in this thing. But in life, if he tries to do that, he'll be reprimanded for it.
Got it.
So therefore, you can't hold the same morals that you hold outside in the real
Okay.
world
Fine.
to the
That
morals to sport people.
I have something to say. I've been quiet. I've just been listening, okay? Because I was trying to get to where Joe is going. Your assumption is fair, Joe. But, and I clearly agree that there's no right or wrong or whatever.
Huh.
But there are a few parts to it. Like there's some things that we know inherently that due to the current judicial structure, current way humans operate or how society has been for thousands of years, there are certain things which are not gray, which are black and white.
Yeah.
Sure, right? And this incident that took place is black and white. If it's true,
Yeah.
that is an underlying fact. To benefit of the doubt, मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि भाई कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ कि वो नहीं किया, बिकॉज़ मेरे को ग्रीनवुड बहुत ज्यादा पसंद है.
Huh.
बट वो सब छोड़ दो. let's say the girl is right. Let's keep that incident. You might be super aggressive, but you can't really do some that is wrong. So
Yeah,
Right.
I think where you confuse your statement when you started off by saying that I have something to say in defense, in his defense, and
it's not
that's not what you meant. You meant there's just a certain way in which sports people operate, which is different from others.
yeah.
And what you, I'm sure you also agree कि ये जो हुआ और
हाँ,
ऐसी जो चीजें होती है
हाँ.
उसके लिए he or she or they, whichever whatever the sports person is or whoever it is in general, penalty ऊपर नीचे नहीं होनी चाहिए. तुम
Yeah.
ये किया है तुम्हारी पड़ेगी.
Yeah.
Fair?
Now that is the first statement. That's my first level of argument, saying that they should be treated not in the same way because they operate in a different mindset altogether.
So yeah, and it's
But
just a different
treated is
mentality.
in the wrong way. Yeah, treated is the wrong
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Treat. Yeah, I know what he's trying to say something else, and I get what he's trying to say, but it's very difficult to put into words.
आज
Yeah.
बहुत
Is
तुम्हारा your usually your choice of words are good. Today it's not.
You're latched on to my first word that I
अरे तो
spoke.
imprint हो गया ना. But
And
treated तो नहीं बोल सकता ना.
and also, Ishmeet, you thoda come away from the Greenwood wala thing. I'm talking about sports
हाँ.
people in general. Come away from
Okay.
the Greenwood.
okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Guys, firstly, listeners, we are dividing this episode into two parts. First part is how elite athletes should be treated. Second part is this isolated Greenwood incident, such that we don't confuse the two, because both of the, although they're intertwined or whatever the fucking word is, intertwined. I don't think they're as relatable to each other. Like you can't apply one to this thing to the Greenwood incident particularly.
Fair.
But I'll come to the Greenwood incident also.
But now,
Yeah, but right now,
एक episode है, भैया.
since we're talking about elite sports mentality and all of that, but like you talk about when you're that famous, like what they say, like with great power comes great responsibility. Like I feel like people, you have to realize that, and it's not a great power or great responsibility in this fact that they influence like millions of people, but
Yeah.
even us as normal people, we have our influence on a few others. We have people who look up to us. We look up to other people. You have like that kind of mentality is there. Like you have your role models and influencers. But for us also it applies.
Okay,
And you have to be careful with your actions that way.
One point, but don't you think that this statement that you made operates in the very perfect world? That if the world was perfect, I should, when I was 19, 20, 21, I should be responsible for what I say because someone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to say that like everybody should be like that, or like that this is how it should be, blah blah blah. No, but it's something that you should be aware of. And if you see some of the best in the world, like let's talk sports people in particular. We're talking about the greats who've stayed as greats and not fallen. Like you're not going to talk about Lance Armstrong anymore. He's known for his doping scandal.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not known for winning 7 Tour de France anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So, but those people have to be a little more cognitive or fuck, my words are horrible. Thank you, cognizant of what is going on around them and the impact they have on other people's lives.
Yeah. So now coming back to this particular thing. Yeah, true, exactly. So coming back to the Greenwood kind of a topic, shifting now thoda sa. Now let's say you are 17, 18, 19, okay? And only thing you've thought about is, let's say, becoming an elite sportsman, being the next Ronaldo. ठीक है मुझे रोनाल्डो ही बनना है तो only thing I focused on is playing football, how to take a free kick tens and thousands of ways. Okay, so I know 100 ways to take a free kick and I'll score 90 times. Okay, but there are other life lessons that I need to learn, is how to be a good person, how to have good morals, how to see these things we learned after a much later age when we matured a little. And I think we are lucky to have learned these things because of few privileges. We went to a decent enough school, we had a decent enough parents, we had decent enough friends. So, but many people even in our age don't understand this. So to expect someone who's focused all his life just kicking balls, okay, and now is in this great position where everyone world follows, that he's going to behave in this socially and morally correct way all the time, is not, I think, always, it's not always possible. There might be You know, ways in which it's fucked. Like Lando Norris made this very ridiculous comment in his game streaming, if you all followed, that he made something, he spoke very regressively about women or some women which came in the chat, and people were like, bro, who the fuck does Lando Norris even think he is? Lando Norris is a Formula One driver who's some 19,
क्या
20.
बोला वो?
क्या बोला पता नहीं, but he basically
Some
spoke
regressive comment.
badly, regressively about women.
Acha, Ishmael, tell me one thing. So he used two words. He used morally and socially, right? The way you behave socially and morally. I believe socially, however you behave, you know, like things fly over. You give it time, people forget. But morally, I don't think it's the same result. Thoughts?
Thing I'm not sure about that because it's a little. I'm not sure what here morally and socially का. But मेरा एक चीज है जो, like my opinion here, like I completely get your point. He's just training to be an elite footballer, right? Both of you, Rahul, Joe, you're on the same page there. He's kicked balls all his life. He's been a proper Mancunian, born and bred since he was born. My point is, he's not somebody who's come from a place which is scarce or is lacking of information of these things, right? This guy has come from a point of privilege, correct? He's obvious. I mean, dude, if he's in terms of, so he was discovered at 16, 17 years of age. ठीक है ना? उसके पहले बोल 16, 17 say he's been at a very, of course, by you being paid a lot, you've come from a place of privilege. My point is from 16, 17, I mean, that's the assumption I'll take here.
Okay.
He or anybody in this case, there are certain things, again, which you don't expect people to understand, people to know. Say, for example, him in Greenwood's context only, for other context, he's super selfish in the way he plays his game. So over time, he's going to learn कि कभी कभी shoot नहीं, मेरे को pass भी करना चाहिए, right? That's something maybe he's not aware of. He's always been told to जाके goal मार, but it's a team game, so he improves. But knowing that you can't hit a person at home who you're dating and telling them open your legs, I want to you, right? For somebody who's in that position, who's coming from that place, who's earning thousands and thousands of pounds every week, you can't expect them not to understand. So your point is valid for sure, but I feel there are certain truths, and there are truths, there are facts, and there are universal truths, right? So in my opinion, this entire incident falls under this line. This line. If you were talking about somebody, say, just let me finish. मान लो कोई बंदा है जो in say England only, I'm not sure where the places are where it's a lot of poverty, education and all नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है. I would have maybe thought about this point, right? Because even then I feel कि ये तो एकदम जायज ही नहीं है बात जो तुम कर रहा है. इसको excuses वाली कैटेगरी में चलो कोई बात नहीं, सीख से समझा नहीं, कैटेगरी में आता ही नहीं है. मेरा ये ओपिनियन है.
But then the question becomes, do you think that does everyone who has money answers these questions like correctly or is in the right side of these moral dilemmas?
No, they might not be.
Exactly.
They might not be. My money is not an answer.
Yeah.
And
so you're saying that 17 say he was like well paid off and therefore you expect him to know these things because he comes from a decentish enough background as well. So I'm trying to counter that. So I'm saying money is not the answer. He might be well paid even after he's 16, 17. He might have 30 friends, no?
I'm putting this in the category. He might have 30 friends also. ठीक है ना? I am putting this in the category where he knows this entire thing that has taken place, this violence and all of this, right? When you know the sun gives you warmth, right? Summer में गर्म होता है, winter में ठंडा होता है. It's as a cold hard fact as that. There are people bleeding. Okay, when he's playing football in your context only, right? He's playing football. He must have gotten injured. पैर से खून निकला होगा, कोई चाप दिया होगा, वो जाके बोला होगा तो मेरे को कैसे मार दिया, मेरा पैर टूट जाता है, मेरी इंजरी खत्म हो जाती. He knows what it's like to get beaten up on a football field. Your context only, he's been shown that life. So this, I'm sorry, does not condone or I won't use the term justify because I know even you're not meaning it from that narrative. You're just trying to put in a new piece into the argument, into this situation rather. But I think still this is a cold hard fact, and he's been exposed to this while doing the thing he's getting paid to do every single day. For sure. ये तो assumption तो मानेगा ही भाई. हम लोग खुद टर्फ एक्सेल में खेल के दोनों अपना पैर तोड़वाया हुआ है.
And he's not the first person. No, it's not like he's not seen other people and the repercussions faced.
He's wearing the jersey of a guy who was also accused of, I'm not sure he was accused of this or not. Gigs, कुछ तो हुआ था. But yeah, जो भी भाई.
Wait. The fact that if this like really originally happened and it's wrong and it should be punished, that goes unsaid. Okay, that has to happen. But what I'm trying to say is that people are not the way they are out of like nothing. Okay, there are reasons why people behave in the way they do, and I am trying to understand the psyche behind Mason Greenwood, the character, to go from this place where he was in my eyes to like right here. You can't see that, it's somewhere here. Yeah.
It's right at the bottom. Yes, in this
Yeah, so that's why there has to be reasons why he behaves in this way. So these are not justifications for his behavior, but these are ways in which you can, like, let's say,
understand his psyche. Yeah.
so if you come from like Ishmeet's mindset, okay, Ishmeet's perspective on this, and let's say there's a, you have these what do you call, jihadists, or you have these terrorists, or you have these really bad people who kill and murder, behead people. Okay, on the face of it, it's horrible, the fact that they are beheading someone.
That's what they've been trained to do.
But there's so much behind that psyche that has become like that. Okay, it's not come out because of anything. There are certain things that America has done, certain things that Europe has done, because of which these people have been, produced. This is that generation of oppressed people in the Middle East have come up, because of which obviously they will want revenge. So you can't just say that it's as cold as the sun gives you warmth or Vesa. It's not that plain and simple, because right now you need to think a little more.
You have a very good point which you made. I resonate with your point. And maybe was sun wala example thoda extreme ho gaya, because in the certain cultures around the world, right? In this context only, मतलब women को जो अगर कोई मारे तो ठीक है, चलता है attitude. चलो वो अलग ही topic हो गया. But again, my point is simple. I feel that this example that you've given, Rahul, then you can also chip in because you've been listening to both of our arguments. I would like to hear what you have to think. What my thing is, this entire brainwashing thing that say terrorists are done into across cultures, right, across ages and centuries. This is very extreme, and it can't be compared to something like this. I feel, because this, again, I'm not sure what kind of people he's exposed to, but if I just think about what kind of people he's exposed to some of the greatest sports people who've ever lived.
Right? Look at the amount of pressure that Bill brings in.
Yeah, of course, the pressure, everything is that the aggression comes in within him. But this doesn't mean I'll take out my aggression on my girl, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
True. That, again, wo wala point hata, if you just think about how kind of people he's getting influenced by the best minds in the world in his context, right? So, agar banda genuinely सोचे, अगर तुम सोचो उसकी सिचुएशन में जाओ, ये कॉमन नॉलेज होना चाहिए, है इनफैक्ट होना भी नहीं चाहिए, है, एंड आई एम श्योर ये बात उसको पता है. तो अगर ये कुछ कर, आई थिंक व्हाट द रीजन कुड बी behind all this entire thing that is taken place, which is very typical, which we've seen also a lot of these sports people getting because of this, is that होता है ना कि fame, power, चढ़ाई, पैसा, सब मेरे को बहुत थोड़ा ट्रेडिशनल आउटलुक होगा ये, बट सब दिमाग पे चढ़ गया and everything, and for him he said, dude, I'm in Greenwood and maybe I can get away with this. I feel somewhere that's where you see all these people with big.
Don't you think that even Mason Greenwood sometimes, like, sitting down on his bed or laying down, just thinks that my life isn't that great, and I think I am not living up to my potential. I just want to blow off some steam, and I can't live up to this being the wonder kid of England. And I want to just, I can't do this anymore. I have self-doubt. I'm supposed to be the next fucking Ronaldo, and here, I don't know, I can't score a goal for the last 2 months. My girlfriend doesn't love me. I have no house of my own. Self-doubt definitely hoga na. So I'm saying
I really love how you're trying to analyze the thoughts in his head.
That is, but मेरे को लग रहा है ना, जो honestly तुम गलत चलो, that's raw strong हो जाएगा, but मेरे को लग रहा है तुम
बात
अलग कर रहे हैं. हाँ, बात अलग हो रहा है हमारा.
Wrong wavelength.
No, not even that. I think I agree with what he's saying, and I'm sure even to some extent he'll agree that all these things can't be justified, or कि you can get away with it. The thing is, we are trying to decode a general psychology of a person versus this action, because this action is incorrect, and no matter what pressure, measure happens, there can't be a reason. There might be a reason to explain this, but the reason will never be justified. So I think we should not, I'm not sure of the right term here or the way I'm putting it, but we should not look at it like हाँ ये तो हो सकता है इसकी वजह से, या कोई इसको justify अगर करने की कोशिश करेगा, वो मत करो. Maybe we understand the psychology and maybe we see कि यार these guys think differently, they're supposed to be trained to think differently, but no matter what, ये बकचोदी है.
ठीक है. I'm saying understand this first part and why it happens, so that other such situations cannot happen in the future, so that our children who are coming up, they are educated on these basic aspects of how to respect the other sex, how, if you're under pressure, how to behave, don't lash out your anger on people physically.
Somebody else, that got it.
So understand where it comes from, and don't be like, bro, he is this scum of the earth and he should be like wiped off the face and kill him right now. So that's not dealing with the problem. I think if you understand his psychology, then maybe you could get to the deeper problem that really lies.
And solve for it for thousands of people.
I would love to figure out what has actually gone on in the near future. Once they figure out what's actually happened, I would like to know.
अभी क्या है वैसे recent development अभी recent में?
हम तो पढ़ा भी नहीं ठीक से.
Arrest हुआ वो शायद.
क्या मिशन?
He shall cease to play for Manchester United and Ishmeet will be distraught.
आएगा next summer Haaland.
अबे डेम्बेले आ रहे हैं अब.
डेम्बेले
अभी पढ़ा नहीं, some strong reports.
Bro,
ये बात तो अलग ही है ना. नंबर 11 ऐसे मेरा फेवरेट नंबर है ही.
तो ऐसा क्या? ठीक है guys, I think that was
राहुल समराइज कर दे एपिसोड. अच्छा हम कर ही दिया वो ब्रेक करके. I think more or less हो गया, but अगर तेरे को कुछ ऐड करना तो कर दे.
I feel like in essence right now it is very easy for people to judge based on what they know. As you said, there's very limited information in file. There's probably more to the story than we know. There's more to what was going on in that room at that point of time. It is also possible that the entire audio tape was made up. Who knows today, right? But I think we should give benefit of the doubt until proven guilty.
Yeah, talking like a defense lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope he comes out of this.
This is still allegedly he has done so, but
allegedly.
But we'll see. Yeah. So let's see what happens, and then just don't form a judgment so quickly. And like you said, there's a lot more that goes on in the mind of any human being, whether athlete or non-athlete, right? And there's a reason why his behavior was such. He's not like fucking mental or something like that. He's not like, in a mental hospital. But take your time, understand what the situation is, and then if based on the developments, we might have a second episode on this. So have a good day. Never mind.